I'm a sole proprietor and I want to deduct my car payments and other related expenses. What do you recommend? All right. So, first of all, we have a couple of ways to do this. One is standard mileage, and the other is actual expenses. So, you got to pick one or the other. You cannot use both and you cannot mix and match. If you pick one, you're going to stick with one. For most people, simplified approach makes sense. A simplified approach basically means that all of your expenses, that means, gas, maintenance, insurance, and depreciation, it will be all lump sum together and you will get a flat rate deduction based on number of miles you drive. So for example, for 2024, the rate is 60 cents per mile. So let's say if you drive 10,000 business miles, that's $6,000 deduction. Very easy. Although you do need to keep track of your mileage, you need to keep track of where did you go, who did you meet, was that business related or not. Obviously, the key requirement here is a business related expense. You cannot write off mileage if you're driving car for personal use. If you're picking up groceries or you're going on vacation, that doesn't count. It's only for actual business mileage driven. So that's your one option. Other option is actual expenses. That means you deduct the percentage of car costs tied to business use. So for example, maybe you have a car, maybe 75% of its business use, 25% of it personal. So you're going to take all of your expenses that are related to that car, and you will take 75% of it as deduction. For 2024, we can also take bonus depreciation on top of that. So let's say if you buy a $50,000 car for 2024, you can still get 60% of that cost can be taken as a bonus deduction. So that's also a huge benefit for you. And then going forward, anything that you spent on, registration fees, maintenance, repairs, fuel, all of that can be taken as an actual expense. Obviously, we have to calculate what percentage of the car is for business use and what percentage is for personal use. But the minimum requirement is more than 50% for business use. So if you can meet that threshold, we can use any of these methods. We can use standard mileage or we can use the actual expense. Either way, we can come up with how much we can write off for your automobile expense. Now, sometimes I have people walk in with some crazy request. For example, they will say, well, I bought a $200,000 car and I want to write off a business expense. Well, what do you do? I mean, I'm a real estate agent and I take my clients in my car. Well, let's take a look at what kind of properties you're selling and where those properties are located. Do you really need to spend $200,000 on a car? And do your people really drive with you? Because if you're showing a $5 million property, I doubt it that your clients are really coming to your office and then you're driving them from your office to go to the property. More than likely, they're driving in their own car. So you have to be very careful. You got to be able to explain, why do you need that particular car for your business? Sometimes I see people go a little bit overboard with this. So you just have to be careful. And then I think Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube is not helping a whole lot with that, because I've seen so much crappy advice around auto deduction. And unfortunately, sometimes it's even coming from tax professionals. You have to be reasonable and the expense has to be necessary. Though you always remember those two words. Whatever you're claiming, is that reasonable? And more importantly, is that even necessary? What would happen if you did not have that car? Would your business go down? Would it hurt your business? If the answer is no, then you don't need it. In matter of fact, IRS has access to so many tax returns. For example, if you say, look, I'm a realtor, guess how many realtors are out there? So if you say I'm a realtor for a luxury market, well, how many luxury market realtors are out there? IRS has all of their tax returns. If they are able to conduct their business without having a $200,000 car, and you're claiming that it is necessary for you to have a $200,000 car, then we are going to run into a problem. You better have a good answer to explain. Now, sometimes people say, well, Deepak, are you an IRS police? No, I'm not. My job here is to just advise you on things that can get you in trouble. If you don't like the answer, I understand that. Are there other people who will just simply take that deduction for you, who will just close their eye and take an answer from you? Yeah, of course, there are other people who can do that. But my job here is to also protect you. So please, if I tell you that I don't feel it reasonable or necessary, Your job is to convince me otherwise, because if you can't convince me, how are you going to convince IRS? I'm on your side. I want to help you. I don't want you to get in trouble. So I hope that clarifies that. But if you still have a question, feel free to reach out to me. Just go to taxcodeadvisors.com and set up an appointment. See you soon.